My mother-in-law said my 7-year-old son shouldn't be our life insurance beneficiary, and she should get the money instead to manage it properly. When me and Robert got married 8 years ago, his mom Linda seemed normal. She was a retired teacher, lived alone in her paid-off condo, always talked about how independent she was. We had our son Oliver 5 years ago, and she was thrilled to be a grandma. Babysat sometimes, bought him clothes, normal grandma stuff. Robert and I both worked, him as an electrician and me in purchasing at a medical supply company. We weren't rich, but we were stable. Had good insurance through my job, savings account for Oliver's college, regular middle-class life. Everything was fine until Linda's friend Barb died last year. Barb's kids got everything, obviously, and Linda became obsessed with inheritance. Started asking about our wills, life insurance, who got what if something happened. We told her Oliver was the beneficiary of everything with a trust until he turned 25. She said that was smart. Then at Oliver's 7th birthday party, Linda pulled us aside and said she'd been thinking about our insurance situation. Said it was wasteful having a 7-year-old as beneficiary since he had his whole life ahead of him to make money. We laughed thinking she was joking. She wasn't. She said if something happened to us, the money should go to someone who could properly manage it for Oliver. We said that's what the trustee was for. She said trustees take fees and can't be trusted. Then she actually said the words that she should be the beneficiary because she'd make sure Oliver got what he needed when he needed it. Robert told her that wasn't happening. She got upset and said she'd raised Robert without help and knew how to handle money better than some bank trustee. I said the decision was final and changed the subject, but Linda didn't stop. Every visit became about the insurance. She'd bring articles about trustees stealing from children, stories about kids who inherited too young and ruined their lives. Said we were setting Oliver up for failure by giving him too much too soon. Robert kept shutting her down, but she kept pushing. Then she started getting creative. Told Robert I was probably planning to change the beneficiary to my family behind his back. Told me Robert had mentioned maybe his mom had a point, playing us against each other like we didn't talk. When that didn't work, she went to Oliver. Started telling him money was bad for children, that grandma would take care of him if mommy and daddy went to heaven. Oliver came home crying, asking if we were dying. That crossed a line. Robert went to her condo and told her to stop or she wouldn't see Oliver anymore. She called crying, saying we were being cruel, that she just wanted to protect everyone. The next week, our insurance company called. Someone had requested beneficiary change forms using Robert's information. Linda had his social security number from when she'd done his taxes years ago. She'd actually tried to forge documents to make herself a beneficiary. The insurance company flagged it as suspicious since Robert had called them a month earlier specifically saying no changes were planned. We filed a police report. Linda hired a lawyer who contacted us saying she was concerned about our mental capacity to make financial decisions. Said a loving grandmother wouldn't try to steal from her grandson without good reason. The lawyer dropped her after we showed him the forged documents. But Linda wasn't done. She called CPS saying we were neglecting Oliver financially, that we spent his college fund on vacations. We'd been to Wisconsin once. CPS came, saw Oliver's room, his clothes, his toys, our bank statements showing regular deposits to his college account. Case closed in a week. The investigator actually apologized and said it was clearly a vindictive report. That's when I decided Linda needed to learn about consequences. See, Robert and I did have wills leaving everything to Oliver, but we also had a provision that if anyone contested the will or tried to interfere with our estate planning, they got nothing. Not even sentimental items. Linda didn't know about that clause. I suggested to Robert we should update our wills just to be safe. Made sure Linda knew we were going to the lawyer. She got excited, probably thought we were reconsidering. We did update them. Added a specific paragraph about how Linda had attempted insurance fraud and filed false reports, so she was explicitly excluded from everything, including family photos and Robert's dad's watch she'd been asking for. Then we added my sister as Oliver's guardian if something happened to us. Linda had been assuming she'd get custody. We also created an educational trust for Oliver, funded by a separate policy, with my brother as trustee. Made it irrevocable, so even we couldn't change it if someone tried to pressure us. Then we invited Linda for dinner to discuss the family future. She showed up with folders about why elderly beneficiaries made more sense. Robert handed her a copy of the new will provisions. She read them 3 times, started screaming that we couldn't cut her out. She was Oliver's grandmother. Full story on channel. Link below.